All right, so my family is now nearby, living in this, or vacationing in town in Cocoa Beach, and took them out yesterday on the boat to see if, or just to cruise around, and in doing so discovered that there's something likely wrong with the fuel pump, I believe. Pumping fuel to the motors, because both motors were not able to go above 2600 RPM, and usually they can get up to 4000 plus, maybe. But since it happened to both engines, it looks like it's likely a problem with the fuel connectors. And so I'm going to look at filters, I'm going to look at all kinds of stuff that I don't have any experience doing on boats or cars, and so I'm researching it, but it's going to be slightly challenging. I mean, obviously on a filter, if there's crap on it, then clean it off, but otherwise, I mean, I'll be looking at the engine without really any baseline to go from. So this will be a research project for me. Hopefully I can sort it out without having to pay somebody a lot of money to do it. So compounded on top of this issue I'm having with the motor, there's something wrong with the air conditioning too. I have cleaned out the vent. This is the intake before, when it got too much hair and whatever clogging it, and I did that again just now to see if it would fix it, but now I'm getting this error code HHH. As you can see, it's 83 degrees currently. Hopefully we can get this fixed before it becomes 150 degrees and this oven heats up even more. So I'm going to research what HHH means, and I might have to take apart this bed because the access to the air conditioning is under it. We'll see. Alright, so I opened up the hatch for the air conditioner, and I'm cleaning the filter, and we'll see if that'll resolve the issues. Otherwise it looks like a hefty piece of equipment to disassemble, but just by opening it up, I think it might have got rid of some of the heat that was inside of this little oven of a space where the air conditioner is kept, and looks like it's gone down by 1 degree so far. We'll see if it stays on now, but here's a look at what it is and the complicated mess that I'm trying to figure out, first of multiple here. You see, and over here, right there is the filter that I'm cleaning up, and you might be able to see, hopefully, that it's completely covered in hair and muck. So I'm gonna try my best to clean that out, because I think that might be the main issue. Hopefully it is. Hopefully that'll resolve this problem, but we'll wait and see. Just as I pulled out this nasty filter, it switched back to overheating again, which is odd. It shouldn't do that at all. Right now it should just be getting gunk coming in and cooling off. But I'll see if I can reset it, and otherwise I'll clean this thing up as much as possible, then think of what else I can do. Did some research, and it sounds like it's high head heat, which according to forums, the issue is almost certainly due to water flow coming in. So I'm going to jump in the water. It's now like, I don't know, 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. Nope, make that 11 o'clock. I'm keeping track of time. So I'm going to go jump in the water here, and then probably go and take a shower. But head down with a scrub, brush, and a file, and hopefully I can clean off the intake for the water that flows into ultimately the air conditioning unit. So the intake is right in the water under the boat, pretty much under this white bumper right there, but in maybe like 3 or 4 feet. So I'm gonna have to get in the water, go under, see if I can scrub it up a bit, see if I can clean up whatever's clogging it, if there's anything clogging the intake, and we'll see. Yeah.
Out of my shell, and I never thought I would fall in love with someone just like you. Ain't nobody here now. I hear you calling out. I hear you calling out for love. Ain't nobody here now, but I hear you calling out. I hear you calling out for love. And I hear you calling.
I don't know if that was successful at all, and I kicked the dock at some point with all its oysters and whatnot on it, and so my foot's a little bloody. It's right there. Ooh. It'll be fine. It looks worse than it is because water, you know, spreads the blood out. Anyway, that'll be fine. More worried about the AC, so I'm gonna go and try to run it again. If it doesn't work, then we'll try something else tomorrow. Ooh. See, this is the issue. It doesn't get above 10 miles an hour. This is with full throttle. RPM's at 2,500, 2,700. All right. So I tried to assess an issue with my engine, and first effort was unsuccessful. I tried to replace the fuel injectors because the issue is that the RPMs can't get up over 2,500, and so now I'm just trying to figure out how I can what's wrong with it. I don't know. I will go back to the drawing board, I guess. Looks like I still got work to do. All right, so when it rains, it pours, I guess. Current issues with the boat are the air conditioning only works half the time. I'm still figuring out the issue with that. I cleaned the vent, but or the filter, but I don't know. I think that one's something I'm not sure I want to touch any further, so we'll see if it continues. Otherwise, I have been trying to fix the engine. I did replace the fuel injectors, and that did not address the problem that I was having in terms of having RPMs too high. But I think I might have noted or identified the issue, and I believe the issue is down here I'm going to show you on the back of my boat here. The motors seem to be caked in barnacles. So, I looked it up, and yeah, that can have a significant impact on ability to reach higher RPMs, because there's a lot of friction when it's spinning with that much barnacle stuff on it. So I'm going to work on cleaning that off, and I'm hopeful that will resolve the RPM issue and my boat will be seaworthy once again. Now it's time to scrape some barnacles off of this motor, these motors. This will be awkward. Alright, we've scraped most of the barnacles off of the motors and we're giving it a try. I'm super hopeful that this plays out correctly, but I spent about an hour last night scraping barnacles and my hands are all cut up as a result. Can't really see it, but if that didn't work, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to trade it in. But I'm currently taxiing out and I'm going to get into open water and open it up. If it's able to hit the higher RPMs, then problem solved. now that I've taken my boat out a few times and tested it, for a while the issue was that it couldn't reach higher RPMs, and I replaced the fuel injectors and didn't help at all. And then I scraped up a bunch of barnacles off of my boat, and that's why I got all kinds of cuts on my fingers, because barnacles are actually really sharp. But that worked to fix the RPM problem, but now when I get it up to high RPMs, it has a loud beep that won't stop, and that can be caused by any number of things. But one person at another captain at my marina hypothesized that it might be barnacles, another issue that's preventing the water intake for the impeller to help cool down the engine. And so I will look at the water intake point for the impellers at this point. Hopefully that is the problem, so I can go and clean that up, so that I can continue using my boat effectively again. Alright, we're out for a sunset cruise, and the goal is to test out whether or not the serious issue has been addressed, and that was whatever was making the boat beep super loudly, which I was hoping was the gills, the intake gills for the impeller that's used to cool the engines. I don't know if that was the issue. There's a lot of potential problems that could be if it's that super loud beep. But we're gonna try to, I'm gonna open her up and see once we get up to high reps if it starts beeping again, because that's when it started triggering it last time, when it started to drive to actually push the engines. But every minute currently there's also a 2 beep thing that's happening, which sounds like it's a minor issue, which might mean low oil, or I don't know, could be one of probably 15 different things like that. That's the double beep. That means a minor issue, but now we're gonna go and open her up and see if we've already fixed the major issue, which was my #1 concern. Here we go. which means the problem has not been resolved. Awesome. So I took the boat out. Looks like the gills were not the issue. So I'm essentially back to the drawing board, but figuring out one major potential issue and now one minor one. I will keep working at it, I guess. I'm hopeful to piece together what it is. I've talked to a couple other captains here to try to figure out ideas on what I could possibly do, but still not there. But my other significant issue of water is, you can see, I have brought in jugs right there. You see that big jug? That's how I now use my sink water, is just through that jug. I shower in the marina shower here, so that's fine. I don't need the shower in here. But I have to manually go and refill all the jugs and then carry them on board, all that stuff. And so I'd like to get the water problem addressed. And I believe it got disconnected when I was fiddling with the engine previously, trying to replace the fuel injectors. And like I said before, I don't want to break anything else. And so rather than go and fiddle with the wiring, that's where all the wiring is, where I could potentially destroy a lot more, I'm going to go straight to the wiring for the water pump. And I did my research to figure out what I needed to do. Basically, I have the 110 volt outlet that I need to convert from AC to DC and bring it down to 12 volt DC, which this little thing does. Plugs in with this, so I'll plug into the outlet, and then I'll take one of those two sets of black and red wires and attach it to the water pump. That way, whenever any of the devices is trying to bring in water, the pump will get activated because it'll have continual energy. But the difference is, now my water, with this MacGyver fix, the water won't run off of battery anymore because the power and the outlets in the boat only turn on when the boat itself is plugged in. So I won't be able to use running water if the boat is disconnected. It has to be plugged in. But that's the ideal state. I need to, well, the ideal state is normal, but I need to go and see if I can hook up this wiring. It's been about 5-6 months maybe since I pretended to be an electrician previously. So we'll see if I break anything. So, ahoy. So I'm going to, here's the bedroom and here's the main room. So you have a context here. Here's the bedroom, and over here in the little mini closet in the bedroom, under here, this is the pump, the water pump that takes the fresh water and distributes it to all the other ports in the boat. And so this thing does not work, but here's my conveniently located red and black wires that I will just need to snip and do some masterwork with my electrics tools. So that way I'll plug it in over here behind the television in the corner in here. Then I'll figure out some creative way to run the wiring that won't be something that will be in the way of anybody or any cats. So I will do some research, figure out how I can do that most effectively. Should be fun. can rest in there. These won't fall down here. And actually pull as much of this white wire back and I'll stuff it behind the TV. Whoa, all right. So to recap, there you go. You can see there's a giant mess of wires, but a success. Subverting the boat's battery by connecting into outlets, which are technically connected to the battery as well, but only to be turned on when plugged into a marina. So there's that white wire. Comes down here along where one of my kitty litter boxes is. So that's the path over to that side. I'm just gonna run it up. I'll probably tape it up under here or something. Run it up and hide it behind the TV. Whoop. And then we're gonna be done. Well, and then we gotta fix the engines. Then we'll be back to normal. So I think I might have figured out what might be the issue with my AC unit. And that's the raw water strainer. I haven't cleaned it and I've owned this boat for a year now. And it's very possible that that's what's gotten just gunk caught up in it. So I'm gonna see if, number one, I can take that out effectively, and then number two, if cleaning that will solve the problem. But it's 11 o'clock now and it's still 87 degrees inside of my boat and probably about like a nice comfortable 70 outside. So I'd like to get that fixed, or else I might be sleeping on top of the boat tonight with some mosquitoes. No, that's the filter. Right there. That is delicious. All right, well, I think we found the problem. This thing needs cleaning. Oh, it's disgusting. Ugh. This is what we're looking at. It is far cleaner than it was. You can see little chunks of old barnacles in there. On the future run, I'll know to just get a screwdriver and stab at everything in there, but this is certainly far better than it was. This filter should allow considerably more water into the air conditioner, and this is hopefully the problem. I think we should be good after this, but we'll find out. But the reason why, it's just pretty much every single hole in it was blocked, and so the boat was not, or the air conditioner specifically, was not able to intake water to cool itself off. Alright, so it's been about nearly 3 months now that I had intended to leave Coco, even though it's gorgeous, for moving south. And I've, at this point, faced all kinds of issues, replaced fuel injectors, discovered that there was potentially an issue with the water pressure sensors, and there's various alert warning beeps that I was getting whenever I would take the boat out. And so at this point, and also ended up scrubbing the boat, the oyster, or the barnacles off of my motors. But I had it checked out, and had to call in a mechanic that had special equipment that would be able to diagnose why the engines were beeping, and it was turned out that it was apparently reaching too high of RPMs, which I didn't see because My meters never said it reached anywhere near 5,000, but apparently it was over 5,200, which is past where it's supposed to be. The highest I ever saw it on here was 4,100. So that was one thing that was supposed to be the major alarm, that maybe I'll just have to keep an eye on not giving it that much power. That should be okay. And the other was the water pressure sensor. So right now we're taking it out, and the ideal scenario is it doesn't beep at all. But I guess we'll find out. Alright, so we did it. It looks like this thing is good to go. Took her out for about a 10-minute spin, it looks like. And I didn't push it to the maximum it could have gotten to, but we got up over 30 miles an hour. I'm certainly comfortable with that. And I feel like if I do another round of barnacle scraping, we could get a couple more miles an hour out of it. Or knots, if you want to be nautical. But now it's a matter of figuring out where, when, and how we can make this transition. Good news though. Right on.